Hello friends, so in this tutorial I will explain what are the advanced options available with the root file. So I have a root file, name is .root. I created with the Pythia simulation. So I will first open the root file, root-l pythia-servers.root. Then I can just open with it T browser, new T browser, and then I can see what is inside it. So when I click on it, then I can see the main branch as a tracks. Then we have the leaves also, which contains the px, py, pz and charge. These are all information I stored during the simulation. So when I am clicking on px, then basically it is projecting this px leaves on a histogram, name is temp. Since it is a histogram, we should also have the binning. So for that, to check the binning, we can go to editor and then you can click on the histogram and then you can click on the binning. So the default binning is 100. I will explain from where it is coming. So here it gives the option to, since this is a leaf, so then you have the option to increase the binning. So when you click here, then you will increase the binning. You can clearly see it's 400 now. And then it also gives to decrease the option to decrease the binning. So you can just see now how. So in this way you can increase the binning and you can decrease the binning from the pad editor. So the similar thing, let's try with the terminal. So now we already opened the root file, so we can access the object. What is the object of the tree by using .ls? Then it will print the object name which can access the tree. So the object name is the tree tracks, and then first thing we can check what is inside the tree, so we can print it. So then you can just see it has all the information. For example, n tracks, it is an integer, and then the px is an array of doubles, d stand for doubles, and so that way you can also access the information. If you want to draw the same histogram, so then you can just click, this is the object tracks, and then you can draw, and then you need this variable name, for example px. So you can do tracks and draw, and then you can call px. Okay, so this will draw the px histogram for px. Again it creates the temp histogram, so that way you can basically draw the histogram. So as I mentioned before, that I will show from where 100 default binning is coming. So for that you can just simply call locate system.rootrc, which basically sets the browser setting. So you will find it here. So in my case it is here. So if you open it with gedit, for example, you can open with your editor, and then if you just see in this, then you will find the browser settings. So here basically if you run the histogram, when you call the tree draw method, then it basically takes the histogram as a htemp, and then it assigns the binning as 100. And in the 2D histogram, if you are defining in the x, we have the 40 binning, and y we have the 40 binning by default, but you can change it, and it depends on the your browser settings. And then for the statistics part should be shown, these all things are defined in the browser settings. So system.rootrc, so you can change according to your requirement. So next I will show how to draw these variables using the start viewer. So let's go to the pythia-servers.root, then we can open again the browser, and then I will show how to change the binning from the terminal also, and I will show how to draw it from the browser. So first, when you click on the start viewer, now you have to click on the right. First you have to go to the root file, and then you can click on the right click, and then you will find the option for the start viewer. Then you can open this start viewer. So here you will find the the options to draw. So this is the, if you want to draw one variable, you can choose the X, and then if you want to draw 2D, then you can also select the Y, and then if you want to use the 3D histogram, you can also select the Z. So for example, I want to draw the PX, then I will click on it and I will drag on the X. And there are two options available to draw. One, I directly draw this particular plot on this histogram, on this basically area. Then if I click on this is the option to draw. We already selected this X, and then if I click on this to draw, then you will find this is drawn here. If I select a new canvas, then if I again click on the draw, it is drawn here. Now if I want to draw the PX, PY, then we can select again a new canvas. So you can see this is drawn, and we can also choose the options to draw, call Z. Then you can see it's created again on a new canvas. We can again create a new canvas from here, where you can draw, for example, BX, BY, BZ, or something. Let's say PZ also. We can put the PZ also, and then I can hit on the draw. Now we don't have the option to draw the 3D, so then I can click on this. For example, I can click on this, so it creates all the 1D histogram, 2D histogram, and the 3D histogram. And then what we can do, since it is doing from the browser, it is executing something behind the click. So I will show you how it is doing it. And here again we have the default binning of 100, and then in the 2D again histogram we have again the default binning, and 3D we have the default binning. So how to change the binning, I will explain it. Let's close it now. So in this way you can draw the histogram from the start viewer, and you can also apply the cut here. So you have double click to enable and disable, and then you can apply a cut on a particular variable. For example, if you want to select a particular PDG, you can apply this cut here. And what is happening inside it, let's see. When I click here, because we did the click from the start viewer, and then let's check it on this terminal. So when I am clicking on the start viewer, basically this execute the command C3 draw PI, and then so this is the basically you have to supply the variables you want to draw with the colon, and then you can, this is the option to apply a cut, and this is the options you want to draw the histogram. For example, I can show you this one. So here you want to draw the 2D histogram, so you supply two variable py versus px with a colon, and then you don't apply any cut here, and then you have the option to select the histogram which way you want to draw. We want to call Z, and this is the last entries, and this is the first entry. So that way you can again draw the histogram. So you enter, and then you will get the same 2D histogram. So again you can apply the cut on PDG. If I know the PDG name, let me check it. You can again apply the cut, T browser. Okay, so what is the name of PDG? This is PDG. So again I can apply the cut on PDG. For example, PDG equals to 211. So that then in that way it will select the pion plus, and then it applies the cut also, PDG. So here you can apply the cut, and here is the options to draw the histogram, and then this is the first entry and the last entry. So first entry is this one, and last entry is this one. You can check the default constructor for the 3 draw. And then if you want to select, for example, one event, then you can again draw the event. So this is the 0 first event, and then how many events you want to draw, the number of entries. So then if you just click on it, for example, if you enter on it, then you will see the only one entry. Now you can see you have only one entry. So in that way you can select the all the options inside the tree. Now I will also explain how to increase the binning in this case. So let's start from the 1D histogram. So what for the to increase the binning, we can define that way. You have to just click the these options, and then you can just write your histogram name. For example, I can write h test, and then you can define the binning 100, or not 100 is the default. Let's say you want 200 binning, and minus 10 to 10. Okay, so now it will create a histogram minus 10 to 10 with a binning of 200. You can choose according to your choice, and the first entry will be 0, and the last entry is already the last entry of the tree. So then if you just click on it, then you can see that now the binning should be changed to 200. Okay, so now I will show about the drawing the histogram from the terminal. So for that, what you can do, you can just simply call petabytes.root, and then you can write .ls. It will tell about the tree, and we can print it. For example, if you want to print it, you can just see. So you have the name of the variables inside the tree. So now you have the name of the variables you want to draw. You can select any variable. Now I will show how to draw px with my own binning. Px, py, px already I shown. Now what you can do, you have the objects, and then you can call draw. So then you can just call px, and then you can define a histogram. This, let's say we call it h test, and then we can define the binning 100 minus 10 to 10. Okay, and then you have to just simply close the it, and then we can change the binning to 500, not because 100 is default, we already seen with that. Now it will create the histogram or px. So now it is creating the histogram. Name is test because we have given the name test, and then we can check the binning also here. So binning is 500. So in that way you can create it. Now we can create the px or py also. Let's create px, the py. So you can just py, and now you have to change it to 2D. So you can, let's say we can do it again 500 binning on the another axis. Then you can just choose minus 10 to 10. Okay, in that way you can see 500 binnings also in the x, 500 binning also in the y. And we can also supply the cut. For example, the next option to put the cut, so you can put the cut on pdg. So you can select pdg is, let's say, if 211 equals to 211, then it will draw only pi on plus, and then you can also select the option to draw call z, and then finally you can also select the entries 10 0. So it will draw the histogram 0 to 10. If I select the entry 0 to 5, then it will process 0 to 5, and then that way you can just select. If you want to select, for example, 5 event, then you can select event number 5, then you have to choose this particular option. So the event number is 5, and then you want to process only one event. So it will draw, you can see that a few entries here, 13 entries is there, and that way you can basically draw. And here you have your choice of your histogram, like you define h test with your own binning. So in that way you can basically draw your histogram. So if you want to draw on, you can also use the new t canvas. As from here, new t canvas. Okay, so now you draw it. For example, you draw it here, so it will be appearing on it, and then you can basically change to according to your choice. And then in the last options I will also explain how to scan this particular option. So for example, we can close first these two drawing. Now we can also scan these variables. For example, if you want to see what is inside the tree, so we can print it, and then we can also see the entries of the tree. So if you want to see the zero entry, then you can just call the show. I think so it's called show. Let me tab it. Okay, so then you can pass the event number and it will show the information of that particular event. So it is the event numbers, so how many tracks are created, what is the px, py, pz, and this prints all the information. The same thing you can also do with the scan, where you can do the event by event scan. If you want to scan the variable px or py, you can, if you want to px scan, then you can just simply call it px, then it will scan the event by event. So this is the event number, row is the event number, and this is the basically the number of tracks. If we just go here, so event number is now is start the event number 1 from here. I think it's yes, so event number 1 is started from here, and then we have the information about the tracks 0 1 2 3. This is the information of the tracks. So in that way you can also do, for example, px, py. If you want pdg, also pdg, you can scan any variables. So you can see that all the information here. You can basically, this is by event, so this is the event number, this is the track number, and then the information about the pdg. This is basically for the tracks. And here we can again choose the options. We can apply again the cut. For example, you want to see pdg equals to 211. If you don't want to see any other pdg, you can apply the cut on another variable also, and then you can just choose this one. And if you want to see the, for example, event number 1, then you can select the 1 that will show the event number 1. So now you are seeing the event number 1, the information where you have the pions only. So you select the only pions in this options. You select the pions and you select the event number 1. You want to see the event number 1, and these are the variables you want to scan. So you can choose according to your choice. For example, if you want to see the event number 0, then you can also see now your event number is 0. Row is represent the event number, and then you in this event how many pions are there, and what is the momentum. That way you can basically, and also you have the instance, the number of the track id of the track. So that way you can basically scan all of the 3 information.